Hey
guys,
welcome back to Forward Farming.
we are back with another fun guest today. I'm super excited about. We'll get into that later though. Because our main guest is sitting right in front of me today. We have Winnie on the podcast again.
I would say the cutest fluffy guest, but I can't say that anymore. So
No, I think Winnie, I'm sorry, your crown is dethroned.
for now.
For now, yeah, until something bad happens. So what happened, Becca?
We got a dog.
Yeah, you did.
Dog. I'm so excited. So it was kind of funny. I wanted a dog for like forever. I didn't have a dog growing up. Well, I shouldn't say that. When we were younger, we had a dog. Her name was Bandit, I think. But I don't remember her at all. Like I've just seen some pictures. We got rid of her, I think. Because she like wasn't good around us. I'm pretty sure is the reason. So like I always wanted a dog growing up and never got one. When do you think my parents got their first dog? Like right after I left and went to college, they got a dog. So it's been one of those things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we've had like farm dogs obviously at the dairy. And when I first started there, we had a corgi and we had an Australian shepherd. And the corgi like hated me, but I think all corgis hate me. But I think that's also just a corgi thing. Like they're kind of just assholes.
How many corgis have you met in your life? Because I don't think I've met many.
A lot. Like we've
Really?
had two on the farm, and then like I've met other corgis. They're big around us. I don't know why.
Hmm.
Plus so that one corgi was Walter, and then he passed
Walter.
away. And a couple years later, we got another one, and we named her Wilma. And she had puppies because I don't know why, unprotected sex. And that was traumatic. I'm going off on a tangent now, but that was traumatic for me because she like went into labor, but the first puppy was stuck in like the birth canal, and I couldn't get it
No.
out. So I had to take her to the vet. They had to do an emergency C-section. Turns out her pelvis was broken. Like she had gotten hit by the tractor years before, and like she got around okay. Like we never knew that anything had broke, but apparently her pelvis had broke. So like she was never gonna have the puppies naturally. So yeah, she had a C-section, and then like when dogs have C-sections, they have a hard time accepting that they had puppies.
Oh.
I think the hormone thing, like they don't get, I don't know, they're not like very maternal because of it. So she had three dogs or three puppies. And then the fourth one, which is like the first one coming out, unfortunately had died. But we literally had to hold her down and cover her face up so that the puppies could nurse for like the first, I don't know, maybe week. And then she became a good mom after that. Like it finally clicked in her head. But yeah, corgis are just assholes. But beside the corgi,
That was quite the story. I was not mentally
right?
prepared for that story.
Yeah, it was wild.
She
It was an experience.
she should have listened to my birth podcast. I mean, all you would have had to do is just listen to the title. Don't
Yeah,
have
don't
sex
get
because you'll get pregnant and die.
yeah, it was wild. But obviously like after she had the C-section, she got fixed. So
Good.
there was sad. But okay, back to the Australian Shepherd. She was my best friend. She she was always by me. She was my best friend. Um and then the day that we had to put her down was like obviously really hard. She had this tendency, well, she was really old, but she had this tendency to sit underneath the cattle trailer.
Oh
Um
no.
and like she almost, I mean, well, she didn't always move, but like she had always moved in the past, like if you just slowly went. But the last time it was me that hit her, which was probably the worst
Oh
part.
no.
And I didn't even know that she was back there. Um and she broke her hip. Um but she was so old that they didn't think she would like make it through surgery or whatever. So we ended up putting her down. So that sucked, but she was such a cool dog. I just always wanted an Australian Shepherd. Um, but Joey, that he's had dogs growing up, but he like was just anti getting a dog here because We live on a fairly busy road, and I mean we're not home like a ton, but I saw this pup a few days ago, and I sent a picture of it to him, and I'm like, "Oh, look how cute it is," and he's like, "Yeah, she's cute. I'll give you that." And then I saw it again yesterday. It was still looking for a home, and I was like, "Come on!" So I sent it to him again, and he started asking more questions, and I'm like, "Oh my god,
You gotta
so
bite.
is this happening?" So then I messaged the girl and like asked her some questions, and then he finally said yes. So we went and picked her up yesterday.
Oh,
She's 3 months old. She's very shy, very timid. Um, but she has been around like other dogs, cats, other kids, horses. So I think she'll fit in really well when she kind of gets over her nervous stage. But very exciting.
I'm excited. I don't know why. I just want to see her with the turkeys. Has she got to play with them yet?
No, so we don't have any turkeys on our farm anymore.
Oh, you what? When did this happen? When did you get rid of your turkeys? Did I know this?
They just slowly kind of died off. We had three a while ago, and then I took one to the farm. There's one at the dairy.
Oh,
And then we had two left. Oh yeah, we had two left, and then one just I don't. It was when the weather was up and down, and he must have got like a respiratory infection. Um, it was weird. I mean I don't know much about turkey health, but he like had a really hard time breathing, and it would get better and then get worse, and then one day he passed away, and then the last one tried to play chicken with the four-wheeler, so Joey accidentally hit him, but yes, we were turkeyless at the farm. This is a really sad intro. I regret saying any of this. Um, anyways, there's one turkey at the dairy yet. But Addie has not met her yet because Addie's kind of a chicken shit, and so I have to like carry her if I want her to go anywhere because she's never been on a leash and stuff, so we got to work on that. But she doesn't mind cats. Like the cat was literally rubbing up against her today, and she was just like, "Oh, cool."
good. That's good.
Yeah,
And she's good with
yeah,
the kids.
yeah. I mean, she really hasn't done much, but the kids have been petting her and stuff, and she just lays there and chills. She's a very chill dog, but I'm sure that'll change. But
Hmm. Once she starts getting used to you guys, and
yeah,
that'll be fun.
exciting.
How was Sophia? Was she pumped?
Yeah, so I yesterday, the dog itself was like 2.5 hours away, but the girl said she'd meet me about halfway. And so I was like freaking out because I'm like, we have nothing for a dog, like, and we
Hmm.
had about a half hour extra time before we had to leave. So I'm like, shit, we better go to Farm and Fleet and get some stuff. So I told Sophia, I'm like, do you want to go to the store? And she's like, well, why? Like, what do we need? I was like, oh, maybe some dog food and like some puppy toys and stuff. And she's like, why? And I was like, why do you think we need like dog food and puppy toys? And then it like clicked in her head and it was so cute. But
Cute.
yeah.
I'm excited to see it. Oh, Easter pictures with a puppy. Oh, so cute.
Yeah.
Too bad you just missed the new Bush dog brew picture thing.
Right. Man, that was poor
I
Tiny.
mean, she would have been too young. She can't drink dog beers yet.
Is their
That's
competition over
exciting.
now?
I think I don't know if it's over or if they're just in like the final stages of it.
Oh,
It was pretty quick.
that'll look fun.
It was like a 1 day kind of thing to get
Oh,
in.
okay. I'm sure they had enough
A
entries in that one
lot.
day.
Yeah. Yeah. Bear he got the first batch of the dog brew, but it went right through him. So we haven't wanted to try it again. Maybe now that he's older, he has a more mature
Parallax for
palate.
dogs.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, what else is going on in your neck of the woods? Anything fun?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just kind of been. I'm like, but when did we talk last? last week.
Last weekend?
Okay. I don't remember it.
I don't either. What did we talk about last week? We talked with Courtney.
Oh, right. Right. Okay. Sorry. I don't know why that seems like it was like 5 months ago.
It does seem like a really long time ago.
Well, we just been just farming, just farming. I'm totally dry now, which is awesome.
Good.
I feel like a new human, and I um have been trying to like find sports bras and stuff that fit me now because none of like my boobs have not grown, but like my chest has. It's weird. So like nothing fits anymore. Um, so I found a few that I like. I got one at Walmart, and it's like a almost like a crop top.
Mhm.
It's really comfortable. And then I was at Dick's the other day, and I got some running shoes, and then I got a couple like Nike sports bras that so you know how like pads always come out and it's super annoying.
Mhm.
This one they go in through the top. It's like one long pad almost. It's really weird. And I haven't washed them yet, but they're really comfortable. And I figure if it comes out while I'm washing, it's gonna be really easy to put back in because it's like a pretty big slit for it to go in.
Hmm. That's
It's weird.
interesting.
It is weird. Yep.
I always get just like the really high compress ones, so you don't need pads and you're just kind of like mashed down.
Oh, see, and I don't love that. I mean, the one I have on, I could probably wear without pegs. It's pretty thick and it's like medium, medium activity, whatever they want to call it. But I just hate shopping for bras, is what I hate doing. Someone recommended
Preach.
Sanita bras.
Yeah.
Um, and they're actually they were like $25, a pretty reasonable price. But I'm at the point right now where I like don't know what size I am and stuff, so I need to be able to try stuff on.
If you want like a hello guys, this is a bra podcast now. Another good one if you want like a high intensity one that's adjustable, SheFit.
Sheath it.
Yeah, it has like
I feel like I've
Velcro
heard of that.
adjustable like band around, and then the straps are like Velcro too, so you can
Ooh.
raise it up, and but it like zippers in the middle. I don't really love those, but yeah, like you can change the strap design on the back, and it's all like Velcro adjustable. I'm trying
That
to
would be
show you.
nice right now, just with like obviously there's a lot of changes that I have to still
Hmm.
go through and stuff. I'll have
I
to look
want to
into that.
say, yeah, I want to say they're kind of like $60 or $70, so it's kind
Ooh.
of.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's adjustable, it'll save you like from getting another one. Maybe I don't know. Maybe worth a peek.
Yeah. What about you? What's happening in Cranland?
Nothing really. I'm just trying
So
to
I
ask
think
you questions to
last time
avoid
you had
this.
just gotten done sanding.
Mm,
Have you spread it out yet? Or not spread it out, but like have you
yeah.
flooded, gone
So,
through whatever you're gonna do?
yep, yep. So we're flooded back up now just because we're going through the cold streak, and the guys just started walking sand like on Friday, I think. So that's when they're walking through and kind of shaking out the clumps of sand that are too
How's
thick
Stan
from
doing so
sanding.
far?
Apparently pretty good. They're not he was really proud. He said they didn't even say anything to me today. So they bitch all the time when I'm doing it wrong, and then they just don't say anything when it's done right. So I'm like, good, that's
Take it as
good.
a compliment, I guess.
Yeah, take it as a compliment. You're not getting yelled at. So A plus.
Go
But
Dan.
go Dan. So yeah, right now, um, because it's been so cold, it's been kind of freezing up again, the water that they flooded. So they can't do that. They didn't do that today, and I think it's supposed to like rain and kind of sleet and just be kind of crummy for the rest of the week. So I don't know what their plan is. Probably just like puts around the shop or something. Yeah, I've just been chilling with Porter. I'm pretty excited though. I don't want to jinx anything, but someone reached out to me um, to see if I wanted to be a keynote speaker at a youth ag event in Connecticut this summer.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. And that's like a whole new ball game, like trying to figure out um pricing and stuff for that. Like, I don't
Oh God,
know.
yeah.
And she's like, can you give me a ballpark price, what you're thinking? And I'm like, oh no. I was like, yep, just let me get back to you. So I'm like reaching out to all these different people. I'm like, hey, what do you think? And people are just all over the place with their pricing. They're like, well, I would do a minimum of this, and well, I would do like a minimum of this if this is like your first big one, but make sure you're getting like your travel expenses covered at least, and then ask for, I don't know, whatever amount afterwards.
Yeah, I
But
mean, just like, yeah, the hotel and like flying out there because that would be a really long drive, I feel like.
yeah, yeah, and I'm excited too because I want to go to the Ocean Spray like headquarters, which is in just outside of Boston, I think. So I think
Oh,
that would be a
cool.
pretty easy drive from. It's in Hartford, Connecticut, and I've never been like to Connecticut before. I've been to Boston and New York City, but never like, I don't know. I feel like Connecticut is just like the
I've
bougie
never been
little
to
state.
any of those states up there. I'm sure that'll be like gorgeous to see though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in July, so it'll be good. I'm excited. Hopefully it all works out, and hopefully like Dan and Porter can come with me too as a
Nice little
little.
family trip. Oh, hi,
Yeah.
Winnie.
Oh, you're back.
So,
We have the ladybugs just invaded our house, and
oh,
I feel like it's way too early. I don't know why they're
it
here.
is, and it's like not even that warm.
No, I don't know if they just like came out of hibernation last week when it was so nice, and then all of a
And now they're
sudden,
like, holy shit, it's cold
yeah,
out.
it's cold out. Get me out of here.
We've had the box elder bugs by us. I haven't seen any ladybugs yet, but every now and then I see a box elder bug in our house.
I hope your puppy chases the ladybugs and bugs around like Winnie does, because that's
Oh no, you
fire.
froze.
Did I? Are you sure it's just not Winnie, just not
Oh,
moving?
you're back. Hi. You
Oh,
froze
you
for a second.
bitch. She's mad at me now because I pushed her out of the way. She hunts ladybugs. All she does is she just runs up to him and stares at him. She won't do anything else. But
She's just telling you where they are.
she is. She's like a little coon dog. Ugh. Anyway, okay. Um, anything else going on? Or should we just jump right into it? I can't think of
Yeah.
anything.
I feel like I had something else to share with the group, but no, it's kind of escaping my mind.
I'll write it down and save it for next time.
Sorry. Yeah. I probably won't, but okay. Tonight though, we have an awesome guest. I personally have not obviously heard it, but Amber had the opportunity to interview a ginseng farmer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I reached out to a farmer that I had kind of sort of heard of when I did another speaking event in Marathon County in Wausau. I think that's Marathon County. I'm real good at remembering this stuff, but his name is Joe Heil. He is one of the largest ginseng farmers in the state of Wisconsin. And this season, I think we're going to be trying to reach out to more farmers in Wisconsin to learn just about all the unique agriculture that we have, because I honestly didn't know a lot about ginseng before talking to him. I didn't know anything, let's be honest. I had no clue what ginseng was, how it grew, what it looked like, and he was so great about explaining the whole process that I hardly had to ask any questions. So it's kind of a shorter interview, but he really packed a lot of information in there. And if you want to visit his website to check out his ginseng products, it is heilginsenginc.com. So that's Heil. Ginseng is a dumb word to spell. Ginseng Inc.com. And I'll leave that in the show notes for you guys too. But he sells his ginseng on there, and he explains like different health benefits of it and different ways you can consume it. But good listen, especially if you are like me and had no idea Wisconsin grew ginseng, or just one of those fun specialty crops that we have. So enjoy the interview with Joe. All right, guys, I'm very excited to welcome our next guest to the podcast tonight. Tonight, I have Joe Heil from Heil Ginseng. So welcome, Joe, and thank you for hopping on here with us tonight.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
So I think a lot of people like myself will be surprised to find out that ginseng is grown in Wisconsin. I never thought of it as a Wisconsin specialty crop, but here you guys are. It sounds like you're kind of a powerhouse for the state of Wisconsin. So do you want to kind of introduce yourself, if you're comfortable saying what part of the state you're from and how you got to be in this position growing ginseng?
Sure. My name's Joe Heil. So I've been growing ginseng for about 30 years. Marathon County is where my farm is for the most part. Marathon County grows about 80% of all the ginseng in the US. And the reason for that is because of the soil. We're kind of a sandy, either a sandy loam or we have some gravel. Ginseng needs to be dry. It does not like to get wet feet. Ginseng's been growing in Wisconsin since the late 1800s. It was started way back in the late 1800s. Seed got traded with fur. It was a form of trade. Ginseng is native to the woods. So if you ever see artificial structure, these big black canopies out in the field, a lot of times that would be ginseng. And what that equals is like 80% shade. So we're mimicking the woods. That shade is put out in the spring of the year when the plants start emerging and the sun gets hot. And then it's rolled back in the fall of the year when the plants go dormant. It takes between 3 to 5 years to grow a mature ginseng plant. And we only harvest the root. So it goes dormant in October and it comes to life again in May. So that's, and again, I was a dairy farmer. So in Marathon County, my family did not grow ginseng, but I didn't think I wanted to milk cows 7 days a week. And I really did enjoy cultivating land and growing crops. And so I was encouraged to get into ginseng, being we had some land on our farm that was suitable for ginseng. And so that's really how I got started.
That's wild to me too. I mean, I'm in a marshy area. We have cranberries out here. So to hear something that doesn't need a lot of water, that just blows my mind. So how did you come to ginseng? Like, is there another farmer nearby you and you kind of saw that and you're like, I could probably do that? Or was it just kind of luck of the draw and you realized what kind of soil you had and you realized that that's what ginseng preferred?
I would say today things have changed quite a bit. When I first started growing ginseng, I worked for some different people that had ginseng and kind of learned the hard way, I would say. Trial and error, and made some mistakes and maybe was given bad advice at different times. Certainly now the industry has changed a lot. We do research with MSU, joint venture, the two states. And so as far as products to use on different disease and identifying disease and insects and weeds, it's all done through research and that's all shared. Where 30 years ago everybody was pretty hush hush and didn't really give away any of their secrets. Mm-hmm. Where now the neighbors are pretty open and talk and we work together. But we also had back then 1,500 growers and now we're down to less than 150.
Oh, wow.
We grew 2.5 million pounds of ginseng and now we grow less than 1 million pounds. So things have really changed, probably similar to a dairy farm. There used to be, a lot of dairy farms and now there's not near as many, and the ones that have survived are considerably larger, probably similar to cranberries, I would assume as well.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. So where else in the United States is ginseng grown?
So there's some grown in Michigan, and that's why we've teamed up with Michigan. There's some ginseng growers there. They also cultivate some ginseng in the woods in Michigan. There's some in New York State, in Washington State, in Minnesota. But again, by and large, the bulk of the ginseng is growing right here in Marathon County just due to our soil and climate is just very conducive for it.
So is it a perennial then? Like how, kind of walk me through, how do you plant it? What all goes into it?
Sure. So very unique crop, different than a soybean or a corn. The seed that we harvest, we then use to plant our own crop again after it's stratified. And what I mean by stratified, unique to ginseng seed, we just can't go to the feed store and buy it. We grow our own seed. The ginseng is picked in the fall, somewhere around that August, September mark. It's all picked by hand. From there, there's like a red berry, and inside of that berry is a seed, like a pit kind of, but it's a seed. That seed is then the red pulp is picked off of that. That seed is put in the sand, and it's put in a cooler. And basically, what we're doing there is mimicking the outside. So we let that sand in the cooler get to 28, 29 degrees. And then in the summer, it warms up. We take it out of the sand. We have a machine that just basically washes the seed out of the sand. And then that gets planted in a raised bed. Because again, ginseng does not like to get wet. So we make like a hill, similar to like a potato hill or a strawberry hill. And then that seed is broadcast on top of that hill, and it's covered with straw. And what the straw does is it keeps that seed from drying out. The ginseng seed can never dry out. The germ inside needs to always stay moist. Again, different than a corn or a soybean seed that you can dry it out and it will last a few years. The ginseng seed will not. It needs to be planted that following summer, and then it still lays dormant until the next spring. So the stratification period really happens over the course of 2 years. It freezes 2 times. And then that seed will emerge on the second year in spring. And we build the structure. We put posts in and use a cable structure lattice system to suspend the black plastic tarp. That's the 80% shade. And then it pops through the straw. And so the straw serves for a couple purposes. It helps to keep that seed germ moist. It helps to prevent weeds. Any weeds we get in the ginseng garden all have to be weeded by hand. We have no herbicide that will take care of that. It's all pulled by hand. And it also helps with any kind of splash. The ginseng plant doesn't like to have the soil splashed up against it, so it certainly helps with disease. But with that, it also makes a really good environment for bugs and pests. And it's really kind of wet underneath there, which is pretty conducive to other diseases. So we're always battling something. We need the straw to hold the moisture, but yet the moisture can be a negative, and it's a great home for bugs that we're trying to not have. So there's a lot of challenges with all that, and a lot of hand labor.
So since they can't be around moisture, how do you treat for pests? Is there a drive application that you can use, or what kind of preventative tasks?
So we use raised beds, and that enables us to drive in there with specialized equipment, tractors, for example, that are not real high as far as height, but yet we have good clearance to clear the canopy of the ginseng. And basically the products we're using is just like you'd use on potatoes or strawberries or apples. It's the same pest that would attack them crops. For example, Phytophthora, Fusarium, Botrytis, Alternaria. It's the same pests. So we really are using the same controls that you would in potatoes. And then the same with bugs. We will get some worms that we got, we can bait for them, or grasshoppers, stuff like that. And then we also can fertilize down them same paths. We use dry fertilizer, and the tractor will go underneath there, and we can lay out that fertilizer.
Sounds like a lot of work. So how many employees do you have full time?
So full time, we have 20 employees. Out of season, we do maintenance, and we're involved in some other stuff. We retail corn for the squirrels and turkeys, and we also have a retail business of the ginseng. We also grow hemp. We got some greenhouses that 4 years ago we started trying to diversify into hemp, and so we're growing some hemp in the greenhouses, so that keeps our employees busy. And then seasonally, we will bring in H2A workers, and we bring an additional 30 workers in from Mexico that we house, and they help us with really the bulk of the labor towards the end of April, and then they stay till December.
Wow. Okay. So that's quite the operation you've got going on. So let's kind of go back to harvest. So in my mind, I'm picturing like a carrot. Is that how you harvest? You just pull it straight out of the ground like that? Or,
So
I
we use
mean, I'm sure there's more
yeah,
difficult.
it would probably be more similar to a potato.
Okay.
So after that fourth growing year, we will remove our structure, the post, the cable, the fabric, and then we have a machine that we scrape off that straw off the raised bed. And then we go in with a machine that looks very similar to a small scale potato harvester, and it goes up like a graded chain, and the dirt falls through and the root comes out the back. And then there again, we will use people to pick the root by hand. We use a lot of Hmong Laotian people,
Hmm.
and that's all hand labor again. And we get them just under contract labor, and we bring them in for a couple weeks to pick all the roots. And then from
Okay.
there, basically them roots get picked into vegetable totes, and they get hauled back into a cooler. And the cooler is used for multiple things. It's a harvesting tool, so when the weather's nice, we can just continue to harvest and put the ginseng in the cooler. It also helps the sugars and starches change over in that root. We dig a little earlier than we did years ago. Years ago it was kind of freezing, and we dig late. We're now with having more acres and people not really wanting to work in the cold, we've started our harvest a little sooner. So then we put the ginseng in the cooler at 36 degrees for 2, 3, 4 weeks. From there, we wash it. We got a wash line that we wash all the dirt off and pick out any debris, culls, any damaged root. And after that, it would go into a dryer. We have a conventional dryer, which is nothing more than a shed that we can take the temperature up to 100 degrees and exhaust the humidity. Or we also have kiln dryers, which is similar to like a tobacco dryer, that we can put the ginseng in on a screen, and then the air is blown up through the bottom and the moisture is exhausted out. And that again, it's at 100 degrees for about 2 to 3 weeks. Basically, we're taking that ginseng from 70% moisture down to 10%. Once we get it to 10% moisture, it's pretty stable. Then we run it across a line again to make sure there's no blemish, foreign debris of any sort. And then it'll go into, we use cardboard boxes, and we put 65 pounds of dry root into a box, into a plastic bag inside of a box. And that gets packaged on pallets, and eventually they will get loaded into shipping containers. And about 90% of our product goes to China. So we load the containers right in our yard. And then that ginseng gets sent across the pond.
Okay. So are you under a contract with a supplier, or do you kind of have to find your own buyers every year? How does that work?
So certainly that has changed a lot in the last 3 years with COVID.
Yeah.
There's probably 10 buyers, traditional buyers that would come from China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and they would come in the harvest season, which typically starts in September and goes through the end of November. And they would just go from farm to farm and pick out the roots that they desire. Different parts of China desire different shape of root, and really the shape of root is made up of the soil type. If you have a little heavier soil, typically that root would be a shorter, chunkier root. And then if you get in more of a sand loam, it's a longer root. So depending on where the root is going in China, and depending on who the buyer is, that's how they determine what root. So they just kind of mill around from farmer to farmer and try to buy what's going to suit their market and where they can get the best deal, of course. So they're pretty good at playing growers against one another and telling everybody the low prices that they're buying for. So I think that's pretty common in any kind of industry.
Yeah.
They buy it cheap, and so that's how that works. But now with COVID, them buyers have not been able to come here, so we've had to rely on an app called WeChat, Zoom calls, take pictures, and that kind of stuff. So it's been a challenge just because there's a level of trust that has to take place. We're responsible then to get all the permits, where in the past they've been able to get the permits themselves.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of trust, and it's been a challenge.
So I suppose it's pretty tough for any new grower that has been trying to kind of get in especially with COVID. I mean, I don't imagine them having much luck finding buyers right now.
Correct.
So is there a difference between the roots that they're looking for, or is it all just cosmetic and there's no, is there any different benefits from different root
There's
sizes?
really not. Internally, it's called ginsenoside is the value of what's in the root that gives you the benefit. And so it really is just cosmetic. I think I would always say it's comparable to an apple pie. When you make that apple pie, you always want to pick out the nice apples, but at the end, the pie all tastes the same. But in your mind, you want to pick out the apples that you think are going to best suit that pie.
Sure.
So really, it is all the same, but different parts of China like different shaped roots. Just the way it's always been.
Okay, so after all that, what is ginseng? You know, what's it used for? What do you prefer using it for? All that.
Sure.
I know it's good for you, but what is it?
So the Chinese use it quite a bit different than we do here in the U.S. Caucasianally, like myself, I actually got a bottle here. I use it. I use the capsules. So I personally take 4 capsules every day. When I wake up in the morning, that's just part of my routine. For me, I think it helps me. It gives me energy, and it's not that caffeine buzz energy. It just makes me feel better. The Chinese say it makes them think clearer. I don't know. I'm a farmer, so I don't know if I ever think clear. But the Chinese say it makes them think clear. I think it cleanses. That's one other thing that the Chinese talk about, that it cleanses and keeps you healthy, helps you fight off any colds, bacteria, that kind of the stuff. It's just a natural cleansing. In China, they use it a lot in cooking, so they will actually buy the whole roots. They'll slice them up, use them in chicken and beef and stews and soups and that kind of stuff. They also use a lot of it in hospitals. It's just part of their medicine that they use on the herbal side. Also in the U.S., you'll find it in energy drinks. We use it in tea here in the U.S., along with the Chinese use it in tea as well. So there's been different beverages made with it. So I guess it's used in a lot of different ways. The flavor of ginseng is not really good. It's pretty earthy. So it's not something that you're just going to pick up and chew. You're going to want to mask it somehow in like a stew or chicken. Truly, you really can't taste it, but it's with the temperature of the boiling water, it extracts out that ginsenoside, which is what gives your body that either the energy or just that cleansing that is going to help you from possibly getting sick or something like that.
Sure. Yeah, that's so crazy. Again, I'm always blown away just by the different specialty crops that Wisconsin offers, and ginseng is just one of those crops where if you didn't even know anything about it, you blink and you kind of miss it, kind of thing. So I really appreciate your time tonight. And Joe, if people want to purchase your ginseng products, where can they head to get that?
So we have a couple different websites, but Heil Harvest is one of our websites, or just Heil Ginseng. Certainly be able to find it on there as well. We have a retail outlet. We do sell it in some stores, but certainly the easiest way to get it is just go directly to the website. Ginseng is hard to distinguish where it's really growing. So I always say, make sure you get it from a reputable source. And the Chinese are great at altering things and mislabeling things and all that kind of stuff. So that's why a name brand is important, to know what your source is.
Right. And especially shop local anytime that you can. So I will leave your website linked in the description of this episode. So go check that out, you guys, if you're interested in supporting Joe and his family. So again, I think that about wraps it up, unless you have anything else that you want to add tonight.
I don't. A few years ago, Wisconsin adapted ginseng as a state herb. So we're pretty proud of that. So And in our travels to China, I've traveled with the governors a few different times on trade missions, and certainly they know Wisconsin, even though they don't necessarily recognize it as a state. They know Wisconsin ginseng, so they're not linking it Wisconsin state to ginseng, but they know Wisconsin ginseng as a whole. So it's pretty neat when our governor is able to talk to a delegation of Chinese people, and he says Wisconsin ginseng, and they all light up and are pretty excited. So it's certainly it's a pretty cool thing, and we need to be proud of that in Wisconsin, that we have something that brings a lot of health and happiness to the Chinese community. And it's a great trade. I mean, we certainly it's one thing that we can trade to China and bring some of their money back here, and I think we need to do more of that and get as much support as we can from our government to do that, because we certainly welcome their money, and when we get their money into the U.S., we spend it. We buy tractors and trucks and fertilizers and land and pay labor, and ginseng creates a lot of jobs in the state. So that's certainly it's a good thing for our state.
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree. That's all great things for the state and great things that you're doing. And thank you again for being such a great advocate for your industry. And again, appreciate your time. And again, you guys make sure you go check out that website and go support Wisconsin ginseng. So thanks again, Joe. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day. See ya.
You too. Thank you.